motivational for implementing government duties. The first session is 3 to 4, and our guest speaker is Dr. Abhishek Dubey from छत्तीसगढ़ प्रशासन अकादमी. आप सभी का स्वागत है. द्वितीय सेशन में भी आपको क्वालिटीज ऑफ एन एक्सीलेंट गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय, इसमें भी आप लोग जुड़े रहेंगे जैसे दीपक सर बताते हैं. तो फ्रेंड्स, टाइम हो गया, आज शुरू करते हैं. दुबे सर, स्वागत है आपका आज के सेशन में. आज क्लास हम प्रारंभ करते हैं. थैंक यू.
Good afternoon to all of you. A very good afternoon to all of you. Hope all of you have joined. Today we are going to have a session on a very interesting topic, which is motivational factors for implementing government duties. Now, motivation is a topic which is very close to my heart because to motivate a person is a divine thing. If you are able to motivate a person, then you are doing actually a service to humanity. And we teachers are so fortunate that we get an opportunity to motivate at least 100 new students every year. So, and besides that, we can motivate our colleagues, our people working with us, and we can change the entire working environment. So, motivation is a very interesting topic, and it is such a vast topic that it is very difficult to summarize it in a 1 hour long session. But I have tried to bring a gist, I have tried to summarize it and especially bring out those points which are very useful for teachers and especially useful for them to be implemented in their working. So I have a brief presentation. In this presentation, I will be talking about some basic theories of motivation, how they are implemented in our individual life as well as in our professional lives. What are the factors that help in motivating us for implementing our duties efficiently? Then I will be asking you some questions which will help you to analyze your personality, because motivation is a factor which differs from person to person. So I will request you to listen to those questions and to answer those questions with utmost sincerity and find out what are your motivating factors. And you must try to strengthen them so that you are able to increase your level of motivation for implementing your duties. So I start with this brief presentation. The first slide, as you can say, there is the word impossible, and it has been bifurcated as I am and possible, which means that even impossible says that I am possible. The word impossible, if you break it in a meaningful pattern and you break it according to your attitude, it will turn into I am possible, which means that everything is possible. Every objective, every aim you can achieve in life, provided that you put in the required efforts with a lot of motivated hard work and determination. So this is one slide. Next slide, please. Next. Now, motivation for implementing government duties. Next slide. Now, this is a basic definition of motivation, as it is important to talk about some basic things. Motivation represents an unsatisfied need, which creates a state of tension or disequilibrium, causing the individual to move in a goal-directed pattern towards restoring a state of equilibrium by satisfying the need. Motivation is actually where we are and where we want to go. There is always a gap in our life. There is always something which we want to achieve. There is present the state of affairs and the desired state of affairs where we want to go. Motivation is the bridge which helps you in covering that distance. Motivation represents an unsatisfied need. You want to reach something, you want to achieve something, you want to become something in life. Unsatisfied need, which creates a state of tension or disequilibrium. Unless and until you achieve that, unless and until you get that, you are always in a state of disequilibrium, dissatisfaction. You always feel as if something is missing in your life, which is very natural. And I think that this disequilibrium is very necessary. It is a very important factor which motivates you to go ahead, to move ahead in life. So this disequilibrium is there, causing the individual to move in a goal-directed pattern. This motivates the individual to move towards achievement of his objectives, towards a goal-directed pattern, towards restoring a state of equilibrium by satisfying the need. When the individual achieves that thing, when the individual achieves his objective, he reaches a state of equilibrium by satisfying the need. So this entire process is known as motivation. Now, this process and the timing of this process and the duration of this process, it varies from person to person. Motivation is a strictly individual factor. You cannot generalize the theory of motivation because every human being is different. So we will be looking about those things. First, I would like to ask a question. What motivates you? When I ask this question in a classroom and I keep on interacting with people, I talk to them one by one, that what motivates them. Some of my trainee officers, of course, some of the officers say that they are being motivated by the prestige and power which a government job helps them in getting. Some of them say that we are motivated by the notion that we are able to do public service. Some trainees say that we are motivated that we will get a good salary. Some officer trainees are of the opinion that we get motivated because we can meet a lot of people, we can make a difference in the life of the common man. So, when I talk about motivating factors, there are various motivating factors lying all around you. Each and every individual has a set of motivational factors which he has chosen for him right from the age. Right from the age, say, it can be even from their childhood, early childhood, it can be in their teenage, or it can be in their youth also. So each and every individual has identified certain factors, certain role models, certain personalities which motivate them. Now these motivational factors, I would like to show you Swami Vivekananda. Many times when I ask my officer trainees, which is the personality which motivates them? Many of them say Swami Vivekananda, and they also say some of his quotations. Let us perfect the means, the ends will take care of themselves, and so on. Some of them say we are motivated by our ex-president APJ Abdul Kalam. Some of them say we are motivated by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Some of them say we are motivated by Virat Kohli. Some of them say we are motivated by our honorable father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Now, these personalities, why do we get motivated by these personalities? What is the reason? The reason is we want to imbibe the qualities that they have in our personality. We want to fill that gap which they have in their personality and which we feel lacking in our personality. So that is why we look them as role models. Then some of us get motivated by some poems, a few lines of the poem. As you can see here, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. These are some inspirational quotations which help us in getting motivated in times when we feel that we are lacking a sort of motivation. Then many of my trainees, when I ask them who are their motivational role models, they name their mother or their father or some other family members. Some of them name their friends also. Now, this is a very interesting aspect. Family. Family is our biggest motivator. After a certain age, when you ask a person, why are you working so hard? Why are you working so hard to earn money? And it is almost in all probability, he will reply that I am working so hard for my family. I want to generate wealth for my family. So family is the biggest motivator in our Indian conditions, in our Indian way of life. Because after a certain age, a person reduces his individual consumption, and whatever he has, whatever money he earns, he tries to spend them for his children. He tries to get them good education. He tries to build a good house for them. Whatever means he can do for them, he can do for his children. So family is the biggest motivator for most of us. And in our family members, mother, because we have seen our mother in film right from our childhood, how she has struggled to how she has struggled to feed us, how she had struggled to keep the household going. So many of us have our mother as our role model. Many of my trainees say that the father is their role model because they have watched their father dealing with crisis situations. Now, this is an interesting aspect. We get motivated by a person who is able to manage a situation which we have difficulty in managing. That means a person who can handle crisis well acts as a motivator for us because we feel that we cannot handle that situation well. And since we had always observed our father handling those crisis situations in a very balanced manner, we consider him as our role model. We consider our mother as our role model, and they act as motivator throughout our lives. So this is another interesting aspect of motivation, considering our surroundings and considering our family background. Then there are some other family members. There are some family members, they may be an uncle, they may be an elder brother, who have achieved great success in life. And many of my trainees, many of my officer trainees, they consider them as their role model. They want to become like them. Then there are friends also who act as motivators. There are some friends who keep on motivating you, who keep on always, they goad you towards attaining more and more in life. So these are some motivational factors. Then I will move forward to a very basic theory of motivation. Before that, yes, there are three basic theories of motivation, because since we have paucity of time, so I will not be covering all the theories. But there are some basic theories of motivation which are very scientifically linked to designing a motivational pattern for a government officer. So it is very important that we understand these theories. The first one is Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy theory. The second one is Frederick Herzberg's motivator hygiene theory. And the third one is Clayton Alderfer's ERG theory, or existence relatedness growth theory. I will start with the first one, which is the very basic theory, that is Abraham Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Now, this is a very interesting theory, and I am sure that all of us are deriving some of our factors of motivation from this theory. This theory says that the human needs increase in a hierarchy. First of all, a human being, first of all, a man or a woman needs to satisfy their physiological needs or their basic needs, which is food, clothing, shelter. Once their physiological needs are satisfied, then they move on to satisfying their next level of needs, which are safety needs. Safety needs means healthy food, healthy water, healthy shelter. Every healthy and safe shelter means everything related to safety aspect of the physiological needs. Once these needs are satisfied, the individual moves on to the third level of needs, which are love and belonging needs or social needs. These social needs are very important for us because we all are social people. We want to live in a society. We want to live in a family. We want to be loved by most of our acquaintances. So we all have these social needs. These three needs: physiological, safety, and social needs. These are considered as lower order needs. These are the common needs which most of the individuals have. Most of the individuals only reach these three levels and they don't rise above them. But there are some people in life who get motivated by the higher order needs, which are the esteem needs and self actualization. Now, esteem needs are related to your need for achievement, your need for power. When you want to achieve something in life, when you are ready to face challenges, when you want to give a new direction to your institution, you want to change your school, you want to make your school a role model, a model school. So these kind of needs, you want to change, you want to get 100% result for your school. You want to make more and more smart classrooms in your school. You want that your students should be considered as the best. If you have these kind of needs, these are esteem needs or the higher order needs, which are very important for, especially for intellectuals like all of you. who are doing a lot of intellectual job, who are doing a lot of creative job. These esteem needs are very important for all of you. I am sure that all of you are having these esteem needs. And at the top of that is self-actualization, which is gaining what your true potential is. Knowing what you are actually, knowing the long-term direction in which you are going. What is the ultimate aim of your life? What is the ultimate aim of your existence? After all, after achieving something, after achieving everything in life, we just want to leave everything and we want to live a secluded life. There is a concept of salvation in our ancient text. So this talks about that. This is a very top level need. I am sure that most of you will be thinking of that also. But the lower three order needs, social needs, safety needs, and physiological needs. Now, if you want to motivate a person, if you want to motivate your subordinate, you must ensure that his physiological needs are satisfied, his safety needs are satisfied, and his social needs are satisfied. If you don't take care of them, he will not be motivated by the higher order needs. So this theory says that if you want to formulate a motivational pattern, if you want to identify the motivational factors, you need to satisfy the basic needs first. After that, you need to satisfy the safety needs, then the social needs, then the esteem needs, and the top order needs, self-actualization. It's a very difficult need to be satisfied, but an individual who has that kind of need will be able to find out a way for that. As we can say, Swami Vivekananda, he was able to satisfy this need, self-actualization. Gautam Buddha was able to satisfy this need. Mother Teresa was able to satisfy this need. So there are people who have reached this level also. But mostly when you look at this pyramid, you find that most of us are busy in satisfying our three needs only, the three needs from the bottom. We are busy in satisfying our basic needs, we are busy in satisfying our safety needs, and we are busy in satisfying our social needs. Right now, due to this COVID-19 crisis, we are facing a problem of satisfying our social needs. We are not able to meet people. We are not able to meet our friends. We are not able to meet our relatives. We are not able to organize social functions. We are not able to organize marriage functions in our families. So we are facing the problem of non-fulfillment of social needs. And you can see how it is troubling us. So you can very easily understand this is a very easy pyramid, very easy hierarchy of needs. Now you have to identify what are the esteem needs that you have in life. Based on this theory, I would request all of you to identify the esteem needs that you have in life. And we will take a 1 minute break, and any one of you can share what is your esteem needs right now at this moment when you are going to start this new English medium schools, this new project that you all are going to start. Please, any one of you.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Manisha Khatri.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am, please.
Yes, at this moment, when we are posted in the School of Excellence, my esteemed need is at present is to meet the challenges of present times and intake the maximum number of students in our school who are very much talented and show the results in a very good way through excellence in all the aspects in our school and thereby fulfill the needs and aspirations of a state government of a honorable chief minister who is aspired to do something excellent through the school of excellence. Thank you, sir.
Great, ma'am. Great, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Any one of you would like to share? Anyone else? Anyone else regarding the scheme needs which you have right now regarding your institution? Any one of you, please?
Good afternoon, sir. Ganesh
Good
Upadhyay
afternoon.
Brahman.
Yes, please go
Hello.
ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, sir. I have just joined. That's why I couldn't understand your question. Could you repeat the question, please?
If you have just joined, you will not be able to answer this question. Please let some
Okay,
other
sorry, sir.
person.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry,
Let some
sorry,
other
sorry.
person speak. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So we move ahead. So I move ahead with my presentation with my topic. So this is a very simple hierarchy of needs which you should keep in mind when you are motivating yourself, when you are trying to find out the motivating factor for your personality, and you are trying to find out the motivating factors for your students as well. Because we teachers have the duty of motivating our students. So we need to identify which of our students is having these esteem needs, and you will find that very few of them have these esteem needs. Most of them will be confined to the lower order needs. It is very difficult to reach to the above level because it requires a lot of potential, lot of hard work and determination to reach the top order of needs. So as teachers, it is very important for us to match our personality, to identify our personality. What kind of personality do I have? Whether I am a type A personality or a type B personality. Type A personality is a person who is having these esteem needs, who wants to accept challenges, who wants to move ahead in life, who has a need for power, who has a need for achievement, who has a need for status. So if you are a type A personality, you will definitely have these esteem needs and you will try to achieve them, which will be a source of motivation for you. If you are a type B person, type B means a person who is an easygoing person, who likes reduced responsibilities, who is not very much keen on accepting new challenges. Means just a person who just likes to live his life happily. Such a type B person will be confined to these three lower order needs: social needs, safety needs, and basic needs. He will spend his entire life satisfying these three needs, and he will be very satisfied from his inner self. So it differs, as I have told you, the motivation factors differ from person to person. A person who is having esteem needs will not be satisfied unless and until he achieves those needs. Whereas a person who is not having those needs will be satisfied if his basic lower order three needs are satisfied. So this is a basic theory which you should always keep in mind whenever you are identifying motivational factors for yourself, for your children, for your students, or anybody, for your staff members, for your institution. You should keep in mind that whether by this mode, by this pattern, by these factors, I am able to satisfy their lower order needs or not. Then there is another interesting theory which talks about Frederick Herzberg's theory. This talks about the motivator hygiene theory. Motivator hygiene theory, it defines two factors: motivators and hygiene factors. Hygiene factors are those which are required for preventing any dissatisfaction among the employees, but they do not act as motivators. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अ गवर्नमेंट जॉब में आपको जॉब सिक्योरिटी है, यू आर गेटिंग गुड सैलरी, you are getting opportunities to make a difference in the lives of people. But some people, even after these factors, don't get motivated. This is because they consider these factors as hygiene factors, whereas motivators are those factors which actually motivate a person. Those factors are there in your job, they are there, but it is important for the person to identify them. In the private sector, they clearly differentiate the motivator factors. They clearly identify the promotion opportunities for people who are performing ahead of their colleagues. But in our government system, we have a different way of promotion. But we cannot say that they do not act as motivators. I will be talking about them in the later part of my presentation. Then there is the Clayton Alderfer's theory, ERG theory, which means existence, relatedness, and growth. It says that human beings have three needs: existence, relatedness, and growth. Actually, it is a kind of summary of the Abraham Maslow's theory. The existence and relatedness needs are related to the lower order needs, and growth needs are related to esteem needs. So this theory is actually, it also covers most of the points like Abraham Maslow's theory. So I won't be repeating them. Now I come to the motivating factors in government job. The factors which act as motivators and which you should consider as motivators in your government job. The first and foremost is job security. Job security, as you can find out in today's times, Those people who are working in private sector, every day you might be hearing the stories that they are losing their jobs, which is very unfortunate, which is very sad. But it is a part of the game. They get quick promotions, they get more and more incentives, they get more salaries than the government people. But at the same time, there is this risk of job security. They don't have job security when you compare it with the government job. So in a government job, you have this very nice job security. Once you get into a government job at the age of say 23 or 24, you will get retired only at the age of 65. So this should act as a motivator that whatever may happen, as now this crisis is going on, whatever is happening, but we are having our job secured, which is a very important thing, and it should always act as a motivator because it is like a long-term association with this organization. It means that you are here for almost throughout your entire life. So this should motivate us that this is my institution. I am going to be here always. So I should nurture it. I should develop it in such a manner that when I retire at the age of 65, I should feel proud of my achievements. And one more important thing, especially in a government setting, I will request everybody to do not look to external motivation. There are external factors of motivation and there are internal factors of motivation. Every time if you expect that you do a good job and you will be appreciated, you will need some appreciation letter. It is not possible. You know that. Because in our government setting, everything is done in a procedure. There is a process for everything. So you should keep your locus of control internal. You should try to motivate yourself by saying that yes, I have did a good job and this good job gives me inner satisfaction. I feel satisfied from my inside. I have developed this institution, I have developed this school as a role model, and I feel satisfied from my heart. I do not require any sort of external appreciation. If it is given, then it is okay. But if it is not given, I am not bothered. See, you can understand this from a simple example. When we decorate our house, जब हम अपना घर सजाते हैं, हम अपने we call our neighbors, हम अपने पड़ोसियों को बुला के दिखाते हैं, देखो मैंने कितना अच्छा घर कर लिया. No, when we decorate our house, when we keep our house neat and clean, we get inner satisfaction that we have kept our house in such a beautiful and decorated manner. Similarly, our institution is our house. It is the place from where we earn our living. वो जगह है जहां से हमारा घर चलता है. We get salary from that. So it should be like a place of worship. It should be like a place of reverence for us. And therefore, I request all of you to please consider this as a great motivational factor, job security. Next important factor is social prestige. The social prestige of a government job is immense, especially in our Indian conditions. A person who is in a very high top position in a corporate company and a person who is say in a middle level position in a government job, he will be getting more social recognition. He will be getting more respect in his society than that person. This is because again of our traditional thinking that we respect a government job, and it is very natural because government is respectable for us. We all are government officers. It gives us a sense of respect, and the social prestige that comes along with it acts as a great sense of motivator. Next is remuneration. People always complain about salaries. I just request them to compare their remuneration with their counterparts in the private sector. The same remuneration that the people in the private sector are getting, look how much hard they have to work. Look at the number of hours they have to put in. Look, they are not getting holidays throughout the year. But we all are getting a very dignified remuneration, and we are also having a kind of work-life balance. We can have always time. We can always spare some time for our family and for ourselves also. So our remuneration is very good, and it always helps us in sustaining a respectful and contented life. So it acts as a motivation. There are promotion opportunities which also act as a motivator. You get timely promotions which should motivate you in implementing your duties properly. There are opportunities for changing something at the ground level. Everybody does something for a living. It is very natural. Everybody does some or the other thing. But it is only government officers, especially teachers, who have the opportunities for changing something at the ground level. When you change the environment of a school, you will find out that the environment of that entire area changes, because those students will go to their houses and they will spread your ideas throughout that area, throughout that entire tahsil, or throughout that entire block or the city town. You will find that your ideas are getting spread everywhere. So it is very important that you accept this as a motivational factor, that I will be getting every year, I will be getting 100 new students. Those 100 new students will be looking up to me to shape their personality. Those new students will be looking up to me for guidance. This is a great sense, this is a great motivational factor. Once you bring this attitude in your mind, yes, these people are waiting for me, these people are waiting for me to take their class, so it will act as a motivational factor. And then recognition. When I talk about recognition, I will give you an interesting example. What is recognition? Sometimes when you are in a crowd, when you are in a market, when you are in a shopping mall, suddenly an adult comes along with his family and touches your feet, and he says that he was your student during some time. You might have very easily forgotten him or her. It's very common, very possible, because you teach hundreds of students throughout your career. But when he touches your feet in front of the whole audience, in front of that whole lot of people, don't you feel the difference? Will it not act as a motivating factor? Yes, it is. This respect is reserved only for teachers. I have not seen any other professional getting this kind of respect, that somebody touches his or her feet out of respect, out of genuine respect. So this is a great sense of motivation, especially for me, because I have also taught hundreds of students over a period of time, and this thing sometimes happens, and it gives means I feel overwhelmed when that happens. So this is a motivation factor. Now sometimes teachers complain that they are given some extra duties. Now I consider this also as a motivational factor. But when I say this, some people might not agree. But I insist on saying this. We are given some extra duties because we are considered as efficient. We are considered as more ethical. That is why we are entrusted with some important responsibilities. Now, one attitude is that, oh, we are always getting these extra duties. One attitude is, oh, we are getting these extra duties because of our efficiency, because of our integrity, because of our hard work. So it will work as a motivation if you could think it like that way. Then, of course, there are factors that do not act as motivators. There will be some factors. Wherever you are working, in whatever school you are working, there are some factors. Sometimes we are not satisfied with the quality of supervision. Sometimes we are not satisfied with the infrastructure that we are getting. Sometimes we are not satisfied that we have not got timely promotion. Now, of all these factors, I just have one thing to say. When you consider these factors that are not acting as motivators, and you compare them with the factors which are acting as motivators, you will find that the motivational factors are more. The motivational factors are more pronounced, more important, more effective in changing your mindset than these factors which do not motivate you. Of course, there are problems in every institution, there are problems in every organization. Regarding infrastructure, as you all know, in government procedure, you cannot purchase a thing overnight. If you don't have computers, if you have a shortage of computers in your school, it is not possible that your superior can just go to the market and buy 10 computers for you. There is a procedure, and that procedure is again for the better of the public, it is for the betterment of the public. So therefore a procedure has to be followed, and that procedure takes time. So whenever we are faced with such factors which tend to demotivate us, I have a humble request that you go to the above mentioned factors which act as motivators and which motivate you to perform your job efficiently. Now, in this list that I have prepared, I know that some of you would like to add something. So I give you 1 minute if you want to add some more factors in these motivating factors. Please, any one of you. Any one of you would like to add some more motivating factors?
Sir, sir, I generally get motivated by the appreciation, by appreciation of good work, appreciation from my senior staff, my boss, my students. That is not added here. Recognition is added,
Okay.
but
Yes.
appreciation is a different thing. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Madam, this list is not exhaustive as I have requested. There will be many more factors because as I have requested that these motivating factors differ from person to person. That is why I have requested you to add more. You might be noting it down. Just add your motivational factor. So that's good appreciation from the superior. Yes, any more factor? Any more?
And reward also.
Yes.
Reward can also be added.
Reward at what level, ma'am? Reward like what?
Reward can be some type of this means the reward is appreciation, part of appreciation, but some type of awards, some type of mementos, some type of appreciation at a larger scale in the stage, in the open platform. That type of reward is also being appreciated.
Okay. Yes. Any more point? Any one of you would like to add some more factors?
Many challenges in the government duty as well. So these external challenges can play the role of motivation as well, because if we see these challenges not as problems but as the factors which can motivate us to work better, in that case we can also see them as the motivational factor, because challenges
Exactly.
just help us to ignite the spirit of working better and harder within us. So it is also one of the motivational factors, challenges.
Exactly. The new challenges and the new kind of opportunities that you get, they act as motivating factors, providing you
Yeah,
consider them as motivators. If you consider them
Sir,
as burden,
sir.
sir, there is a quotation, sir. The best reward for a thing well done is to have done it. So sometimes we get satisfied by the things we have done in a better way, in a good way. That is also a very good reward and very great reward for us.
yes,
The
yes,
thing well done, yes.
yes. So thank you. I would like to move ahead with my presentation, and I will request all of you that after this session is over, means after both the sessions are over, you can just make a list of the motivating factors in life that are motivating you right now, and if possible, just try to make identify some new factors also. Then I will talk about some things. Now I will ask you some questions and you can note down the answers in your paper that you are having. The answer will be yes or no. And then at the end of that, I will try to identify what kind of needs do you have. Actually, there are three kinds of need: need for power, need for affiliation, and need for recognition. Three kinds of needs have been identified which act as motivators. Most of us have need for recognition, need for affiliation. Need for affiliation means social needs. We want to be loved by people. But some of us have need for power also. So let us answer these questions one by one. We try to analyze our personality. We try to analyze what are our motivating factors. And after this session is over, just list down those questions and find out what are your motivating factors. Now, question number one: do you want to do better than competitors? Yes or no? Do you want to do better than competitors? Do you love attaining a difficult goal? Do you love attaining a difficult goal? Kind of esteem needs, as we were talking about, new challenges. Do you love solving a complex problem which others cannot solve? Do you love solving a complex problem which others cannot solve? Do you have this need that when in a meeting, say when your superiors ask that, okay, we have this problem in running this school, who is going to handle this? and you raise your hand and you say, yes, I am going to solve this problem. Do you have that urge? Do you have that skill? Do you have that motivation? Do you like carrying out a challenging assignment successfully? Do you like carrying out a challenging assignment successfully? Do you like developing a better way to do something? Do you like developing a better way to do something? Innovation. Do you accept the things that as they are? जो जैसा है वैसा है, मेरे को क्या करना है, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, ये है आपका एटीट्यूड या नहीं, मैं इसको बदल के रख दूंगा, मैं जितना चेंज कर सकता हूँ मैं उतना जरूर करूंगा. Whatever I am capable of doing, I will definitely do. मैं जो कर सकता हूँ वो मैं करके दिखाऊंगा. Do you like developing a better way to do something? There is always a better way to do something. There is always a scope for betterment. When you take a class in a very nice manner, there is always a scope of improving that class when you take it for the next time. So these are some questions. Now, if the answers to the above mentioned questions are yes, then you have a high level need for achievement and recognition in life. If answers to these questions are yes, then you have a high level need for achievement and recognition in life. It means that you get motivated by esteem needs. You need to work harder. Don't compare yourself with others. You should set a benchmark for yourself which is higher than other people. Because you have a need for achievement and recognition, don't let this need die. Don't let this need extinguish. This is a very positive thing that you want achievement, recognition in life. It's a very good thing. Of course, in the positive sense, we should not, it does not mean that we start doing negative things for achievement, for achieving something in life. So these are some basic questions. You understand this? I would move to the next round of questions. Do you like influencing people to change
To
their...
show the questions. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, sir. I did not see the question actually. Yes, sir. Now I got it. Yes. Sir.
Okay, okay. Now, do you like influencing people to change their attitudes or behavior? Do you like influencing people to change their attitudes or behavior? Do you like to control people and activities? Do you like to control people and activities? Do you like being in a position of authority over others? Do you like being in a position of authority over others? Now, by authority, when I talk about authority, you can gain authority only by respect. If you try to force people to respect you, it is not possible. You gain respect by your knowledge, by your positive attitude, by your communication skills, by your problem solving skills, by your technical skills. When you present yourself as a complete package, as a person who is capable of running the whole institution, then you are being respected and you automatically gain authority. When out of, say, a group of 5 people, only one person can solve the problem, only one person can run the institution properly, the rest of the 4 will automatically respect him. The rest of the 4 will automatically accept his authority. There will be no need of imposing his authority over them. Next, do you like gaining control over information and resources? Do you like gaining control over information and resources? Do you like defeating an opponent or an enemy? Do you like defeating person? You want to defeat somebody? Very natural. There are some people with whom we are not on good terms, and we always think of, say, if I could defeat him, or if I could not defeat will be a word, just make him feel a bit lower. If answers to the above mentioned questions are yes, then you have a high level need for power. अगर इन questions का answer yes है, then you have a high level need for power. Now, the need for recognition and the need for power. I will request you, if you have need for power, then as a government principal, as a teacher, we will have to find out some ways where we have to regulate this need for power. Because if you have this very high need for power, sometimes you might feel uncomfortable in your working environment. Because there are people who will resist you. There are people who will resist your authority. So there should be a fine balance between need for power and need for recognition. Both these are very positive needs. Both these are top order esteem needs, but they need to be regulated in a manner that they channelize all our energy and resources in a positive direction. Next set of questions I would like to move. Do you like being liked by many people? Do you like being liked by many people? Do you like being accepted as part of a group or team? Do you like being accepted as part of a group or team? You like to work in a team. You like to be part of a group. You don't want to be left behind. Do you like working with people who are friendly and cooperative? Do you like working with people who are friendly and cooperative? Do you like maintaining harmonious relationships and avoiding conflicts? Do you like maintaining harmonious relationships and avoiding conflicts? Do you like participating in pleasant social activities? Do you like participating in pleasant social activities? All these needs, if you analyze these needs, and if the answers to the above mentioned questions are yes, then you have a high level need for affiliation or social needs as we have talked about. Now, a person who has these social needs will prefer to be liked by people, will prefer to stay in a group, will prefer to participate in a team, in a group task. Means he always likes to be friendly with people. He never wants to spoil his relations. Now, if you have this need for affiliation, then it is very much possible that you might have a lesser degree of need for recognition and a need for power. Because all these three needs cannot exist simultaneously. If you have more need for affiliation, if your personality is like that you want to be with people, you want to have their affection, you want to have their cooperative attitude, and at the same time, if you think that you have the need for power also, you can control them, you can exercise your authority over them, it is simply not possible. Therefore, I will request all of you to seriously think about these questions and identify your needs. And most of us will have the need for power and need for recognition. And at the same time, we have the need for affiliation also. But what is very important is we have to ensure a judicious mix of all these three needs so that we can devise a motivational pattern for us. We can find out a motivational pattern for us based on our these various needs. Now, there is another round of questions. This is regarding security needs. Do you like having a secure job, which all of us are having? Do you like being protected against loss of income or economic disaster? Do you like being protected against loss of income or economic disaster? Do you like having protection against physical harm or hazardous conditions? Do you like avoiding tasks or decisions with a risk of failure and blame? Very common thing. Do you like avoiding tasks or decisions with a risk of failure and blame? If answers to the above mentioned questions are yes, then you have a high level need for security. Okay. So the need for affiliation and the need for security, they constitute one set of needs, and the need for power and need for recognition, they constitute another set of needs. Now, what is to be done? What is to be done is take a piece of paper after this session or when you get time, analyze your personality. Analyze your personality, how you are. And since you are all having a considerable years of experience, you need to find out that during your lifespan, what are the factors that acted as motivators, and you should strengthen them. If you have high level need for recognition, high need for power, and you think that you cannot live without them, you have to satisfy those needs, then you have to prepare a judicious mix of those needs. But if you have more need for affiliation, more need for security, then of course you have to reduce your need for power and need for recognition, and you have to mold your personality in that direction. If you have esteem needs, I will request you never to ignore those needs, or never try to dampen those needs, because those are very positive things. Those needs will help you in moving ahead in life, and they will not only motivate you, they will motivate many other people also. They will motivate many others who will follow you, who will consider you as a role model. As I have given many examples in the earlier part of my presentation, if Gautam Buddha had decided that no, I am going to be with my family, I am not going to leave my home, then this entire beautiful Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist religion, we would not have been able to see. So these esteem needs, this will make a difference. In every organization, such people are required who have esteem needs. Such people are required who have need for recognition, who have need for power, because those are ambitious people. Those are the people who will do new things. Those are the people who will innovate. Whereas the lower order needs, the social needs, safety needs, they are very common needs. Everybody has them. That's a very simple thing. Most of the people have those lower order needs, but we all are intellectuals. If we are also like them only, then what will be the difference? What is the use of this session if we are only indulged in satisfying those three needs? We need to move ahead in the hierarchy. Always remember that pyramid. I will request you that always remember that pyramid in your life. And of course, you should be working in satisfying your basic needs, safety needs, and social needs. But at the same time, you need to satisfy your esteem needs also. You need to make a difference in your organization. Your school should be a role model for all the other schools in Chhattisgarh, or for that matter, the entire country. There are various national level awards. We should always aim that our state should get that award. There are various indicators in school education which have to be followed. As a principal, I must ensure that my school gets the best results, gets the best indicators. These should be my motivating factors. And I will mold my personality to strengthen these factors. If there is lack of confidence, I will try to improve my confidence. If there is lack of communication skills, I will try to improve my communication skills. If there is lack of technical skills, I will try to improve that. Everything. I will reshape my personality. I will motivate myself to an extent that I not only satisfy the esteem needs, but at the end of my life, I will be reaching the topmost level of self actualization also. Self actualization means that you have achieved your true potential. You have achieved what you could become in life. You have been a very good principal. You have transformed your school. You have given your best to the school education department. And then at the end of your career, you are highly satisfied. That is self actualization for considering our profession. This interesting quote you might have seen many times, that I can't do it. You just remove the T and you get the sentence I can do it. Then sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Whenever you try new things, sometimes you win, but if you don't get the right result, you learn how to do it in the correct manner next time. So these are some things, these are some of my thoughts regarding motivational factors. Now we have a few minutes left. I will request you one by one to ask any questions or share your ideas about my entire session. Please. Any one of you?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Rajneesh Upadhyay from Mughali, sir.
Please.
Sir, would you like to talk a bit about the difference between satisfaction and fulfillment?
Regarding what sense?
Performing duties.
Regarding satisfaction and fulfillment in life.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
Just
to
for example, if someone performs, may I just cite an example?
Yeah, please.
In my view, if somebody is performing the duty and looking for the appreciation, and if appreciation comes, that the particular individual will feel satisfied.
Yes.
But if someone is not just giving the appreciation, and someone is not being appreciated for the hard work he or she is doing, but he or she just realizes this point that this is my duty and I have to perform it, and just by performing it I feel satisfied even though I'm not getting any sort of appreciation, I think that may be called fulfillment. That's why I just feel that the fulfillment is even higher degree at a deeper value than the satisfaction itself. So I must emphasize that we should try to highlight more we should try to highlight fulfillment more than satisfaction,
I
because
think
satisfaction is always associated with the kind of ego which is always associated with the external factors. So we
yes.
should not look for the appreciation that is directly related with the satisfaction. Fulfillment, we need to be fulfilled while performing the duty. That's it, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes. I think I have mentioned this in the earlier part of my presentation that in our government setting, if we continuously look for appreciation, external appreciation, sometimes we may not get it at that time. Later on, we may get it. Therefore, we should keep our factor of motivation internally. We should keep our locus of control internal so that our motivational factor is dependent on our satisfaction. As sir rightly pointed out, that we do a good job. We do a good job for our school. We transform our school and we feel better from our heart, from our inner self. That will give us more and more satisfaction. And of course, it will keep on motivating us to do such things in future. Next question. Next question. हाँ, you can start. इसको बोलूँगा. Yes, anyone
So,
of you?
yeah, if someone is not asking, may I ask another one? Hello.
Hello, please. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, do you think it is possible to motivate someone who doesn't have interest to perform that work?
We have to do it. We have to do it because as a principal,
Yes, sir.
it is a challenge. We can take it as a challenge that that person is not getting motivated. How to motivate him? Now, all the factors that I have listed in front of you, there will be some or the other factor which will work on it, and it is a challenge for you also to identify that factor. Now, you have to identify the personality of that person, and you have to find out why he is not getting motivated. You try to find out what are the social needs which will motivate him. What are the esteem needs which will motivate him. We need to devise a pattern. That is a challenge for us. That how to get him motivated.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any one of you would like to share something, share some thought? Any one of you would like to share something?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Uh, why power is always considered at the top, and below which comes the self-realization like that?
No, self-actualization is at the top, sir.
No, no, self-actualization, no, the recognition.
No, those needs they constitute a part of esteem needs. What is your point? What do you want to say?
I just want to say that why people find power to be more important than other things.
That is a part of esteem needs, sir. Some people have more need for power, more need for recognition. That is why I requested that we have to devise a judicious mix of both these needs. Because you are in a position of authority. As a principal, you are in a position of authority. Sometimes you might have to punish people. Sometimes you might have to take disciplinary action. Sometimes you might have to show authority. Though you are not that kind of person, but you have to show authority to maintain discipline. So we have to ensure that there is a fine balance between the need for power and need for recognition. Because you are in a that position, you have that authority, and sometimes there are some people who need to be shown that authority, who need to be treated by the carrot and stick approach. So therefore, that need is natural and that is there. That cannot be avoided. There is need for power. Yes, it is there. Okay.
Okay.
I thank you all. I think we are running out of time. I will just like to conclude my presentation. I talked about the basic definition of motivation, that it is a combination of factors which take you from a sense of disequilibrium to a sense of equilibrium. They take you from where you are to where you want to go, what you want to achieve in life. I talked about certain motivational factors which help you, which motivate you in doing your government job efficiently, which are job security, social prestige, remuneration, promotion, opportunities for ensuring change in the institutions, and you also talked about lot many factors. Then I requested you, I asked you some questions. I requested you to analyze your personality and identify your needs. And as per your needs, I requested you to identify your motivational factors and strengthen them so that they motivate you to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. I thank you all for giving me a patient audience. Thanks a lot. Please rejoin for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. It's very wonderful performance. Dubey sir, very, very thanks to you.
Thank
And
you, sir.
friends, please join again.